everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Tea Time. I'm Villains Marksman here with Bluebelly Gaming, and I hope you enjoy. Yeah, so I guess if you want to start, talk about how you came up with your branding or what you see your branding as, you know, because I think everyone has a little different view of what they want the branding to look like. Oh, what is that? Okay.
That was pretty cool cannon there.
Yeah,
So,
that's
sorry, I was I was into that. So yeah, my brand is Bluebelly Gaming, and I started this initially. Uh, like the name came from a family member gave me the name for like a fantasy football team or fantasy. Actually, it was fantasy NASCAR. It was a long time ago,
that's
and
good.
that was kind of where I got the Bluebelly name. But then I made that my Xbox gamer tag and everything years ago. So when I was trying to decide what to do for a gaming brand, I actually thought about several different ideas, and the main reason I went with it was because everything was already I already had materials that were kind of designed for that. And my first logo that I made was like a famous painting from the Civil War, because Bluebelly is a nickname for Union soldiers in the Civil War. And
Okay.
so I used that famous painting, and I made it work. And I had a friend of mine who has some graphic design. He has a graphic design business. I had him like clean it up, and it was cool. But then I realized most of the games that I play are not fighting games, or
Yeah.
shooting games. They're simulation games. So I actually got away from that initial soldier shooting a gun logo
Okay.
and ended up uh, making it just my text. But the name, it's alliterative, Bluebelly, and people don't know what it is, so it gives me something to
Like
talk
a
to them about. I don't know
Yeah.
where I'm
You have
supposed to
to
shoot
shoot it
this
into the tip of the other cannon.
into the
Like aim at the
up
front. Yeah.
up there.
Yeah. And you wanna hit the cannon like right on, like point the line on the cannon, like the front of it. Though it took me a while because I kept shooting the back of it. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. It was a
Why does it
lot.
make it look like you need to go through that little building?
I
Anyways,
know. Yeah.
and then I
That took
made that shot.
forever.
That's crazy. I only had 7 seconds left. So. How about you? How'd you end up with marksman?
Well, I guess I kind of started. I mean, I do the Call of Duty now, but I started in the Fortnite content creation, which was, you know, kind of a big market. There wasn't much new, what would you call growth? There was the main streamers and YouTubers, and it was kind of hard to break through. But I was like a trick shotting, sniping, that kind of fun type of branding, and I just figured marksman sniping, it made sense at the time. And I kind of, you know, leaned into that a little bit, even though I kind of stopped and took it. Like, I do competitive Call of Duty now, so it's not as lighthearted or trick shot or just for fun, but it is still, I think, an appropriate name, especially for the type of games I play. But I think that, a lot of the branding stuff, it is with your name and like the logo, but I found like there's kind of sub branding as well that I've had to work through, because I I don't know if you watch my YouTube channel. I know you kind of do a little bit
Yeah, I
with
have
the
watched
whole
it for
the
sure.
whole Reaper like moniker, whatever you want to call that. Like,
Yeah.
that's something I probably wouldn't use as a gamer tag just because I don't know, I don't really like it. But like ever since I started playing Call of Duty, that's kind of been my thing. Like, I always have the Reaper emblems or stuff like that. So I kind of tried to develop that, so like as a theme for my videos. Because like I said, I kind of feel like, for if you're like trying to start a YouTube channel and you're watching this a little bit, it's kind of important to develop what you want your branding to like represent. You know, like when people
For
click on
sure.
your videos, what do they want to do, and like
Well, and
how does your name go with that?
yeah, and I think that's it doesn't have to be a perfect fit, but you don't want to be like you if like what I was talking about with my logo having a guy with a gun and then never really playing shooting games, right?
Right.
That
People
was
might get a little.
inconsistent, and it took
Yeah.
me a little while to realize that. And maybe most people watching the videos wouldn't even care,
Yeah.
but when you're thinking about brand consistency, I
Mhm.
definitely agree with you that if you have the kind of channel that is like mine is for simulation gaming,
Yeah.
uh, you you want something maybe a little more either indicative of simulation games, or at least that I wouldn't do rainbows and butterflies and
Right.
like something like that, whereas maybe my daughter, if she was gonna start a channel, she would definitely want rainbows and unicorns
Right.
and that kind of stuff because it would suit her. And so yeah, I think and this might be going a little more in the weeds than you want for this conversation, but even thinking about like how your name fits with like uh the color palette and
Right.
overall stuff that you're trying to put together.
Your
Like I use
aesthetic,
Canva. What's that?
like the aesthetic of your brand, like what the
It,
look is.
yeah, I use a free service called Canva, which is a website
Hmm.
to do like my thumbnails and design work because I'm cheap mostly, but also because it. Oh no, I went too short. Also because it allows you to set like your main colors even for your brand.
Yeah.
So that makes it super easy if I'm working on a thumbnail and I pull one color from the screenshot, another for a bold contrast color, to make the writing pop, and then use a brand color. And it doesn't always have to be the same main brand color either.
Yeah. Right. I get that a lot with, I make a lot of thumbnails or content, and that's usually my issues, like color schemes. Like I was brought up earlier, like when I'm using like a montage and like the whole Reaper brand, I usually try to like put red in there along with my colors. You just kind of want to, from what I've noticed, is you want to stay consistent though. Like if you're trying to make your own and you're working on your brand, just keep it consistent to start, because you don't want your audience to not understand what like vibe you're going for. Where are we
That's
shooting this?
true. Yeah, and I think our two channels are a good example of like the contrast. We don't do the same kind of thing. Our audiences are probably not overlapping,
Hmm.
but our approach can be similar in, when you make a choice for music or when you make a choice for uh like even the style of
Right.
how you film it. Like you have rapid cuts, right? Like boom,
Uh
boom,
huh.
boom. It's a highlight video. It's a highlight montage.
Yeah.
Whereas my stuff, I'm like being a teacher. I'm explaining, like now we're gonna build this building over here,
Yeah. Right. And that.
and that's understanding. It's not that I couldn't play Call of Duty or you
Right.
couldn't do a city builder. It's just
Yeah.
knowing that the branding fits what you're doing.
Yeah. And if you kind of do, if I make montages nonstop and it's like the cutting, aggressive, like all that music, and then I start doing like you do, like the teaching or the like a slower type thing, it can confuse your audience, and they're like, wait, like what is going on here? I mean, it's fine to
Right.
like adapt your channel, but you kind of have to ease your audience into it. Like I kind of had
Well,
issues with that as far as like switching games and stuff. I know you play like a lot of different games, like, but for me, I don't know. It's like I kind of only do one thing lately, trying to grow a bigger audience with that in particular because I don't know. I've just had bad experience with changing up my style, and then like you lose a lot of followers sometimes when you do that. Like it's not a
Yeah,
bad
so
thing, but you just got to make sure you're pacing yourself and your audience with that.
a big thing with YouTube is audience or viewer satisfaction and retention. So if you can get people to watch for longer and to come back to your channel, like that's what they want. Are we supposed to hit these boats or what?
I'm very confused right now. I think we're supposed to dodge them, but how?
Okay, I see you scooted through there. All
Yeah, but
right,
it
I'm
reset
gonna
me.
shoot the gap here. Oh no,
Holy
man,
crap.
that's tough.
Okay. This
So,
this is a challenge.
yeah. So one thing that, and different listeners might have different ideas on how effective this can be, but uh, one thing that I have done recently is um, the the joys of having a second channel.
Yeah, right.
um, so I've learned that has actually helped because I was fragmenting my own viewership by playing all these different games, and
Yeah.
what I'm hoping to do with my main channel is get people. Oh, I'm glad you went first there and showed me what not to do.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
Do that.
oh, but with my main channel, I've learned that it is possible. Wait, we're not. Oh, we need to go over to the gun.
Yeah, that got me. I was like, oh,
I went down in the hole, which is
it
the
kills
trap.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with my main channel playing those different games, people just if they followed me because they like Banished or they like Farm Sim, they maybe don't like the other one. And
Mhm.
I'm not big enough. I'm not a well-known enough creator that people are like, oh, I just love him so much, I'm willing to watch him
Right.
play anything.
Yeah.
You have to reach like iconic status for
Mhm.
people to be like, I'll watch you do whatever.
Yeah, that.
And as you're building that credibility and you're building your brand, you
Mhm.
need to be known for something, even if it's not the
Right.
same game, but it should at least be the same style. Like if you went and played another shooter,
Right.
people might
Yeah.
stick around for that.
Yeah. As long as it's the same style, like it's a montage or like based on my content, if it's similar but just a different
Yeah.
game. Yeah,
Yes.
that's never been my huge issue. Is switching games as much as like I don't like montages are surprisingly difficult to make. I mean, not like from a I don't know like what was that? There's like a sheer difficulty standpoint, but it's like
Nice jump.
I go through uh probably 5 hours of footage to make a 2 minute video.
Yeah.
Like it's just a lot of time, like in real life,
Yes.
to get good content. So I've been I've tried in the past to switch it up a little bit, and it's just you don't retain the same amount of viewership. But you know, it's not a bad thing to try. Like I've done different kinds of content, just not on my channel. You kind of
Well,
gotta pick and choose, and like if I can get more subscribers, get more retention through what I'm good at and what people know me for, then I can kind of expand out because that's how you got to do it.
yes, and one thing I've had success with, and it makes sense when you consider what I said earlier about branding, I've had success with doing how-to videos, which
Hmm.
matches my intelligent simulation, relaxed atmosphere kind of brand slogan, and it suits my personality and my real life career, which
Right.
because I'm older than you, I have a different advantage in that regard, that I have a career path and some other things, some other experiences, but that's also like I've been able to learn from some of that stuff, and that influences part of what I do. But there are times where I'm like, I don't want to teach right now. I just want to play video games,
Right.
so sometimes that can be a detriment, but I know what you mean in terms of like the amount of time you put into getting content, not just like, oh, I filmed this thing,
Hmm.
but trying to edit it down, and it can be very discouraging, and I think that's why people try to do projects that are uh, they try to make it easy on themselves, but it's just not
Right.
an easy process.
Yeah. I mean, I do stream a lot. I mean, by a lot, I mean like maybe once a week. You know, but I kind of find streaming to be a little, I don't know, too basic in some senses because I feel like it lacks a certain kind of like flair to it or a taste. Like you kind of lose some of the content creation when you're just sitting there streaming, you know. And that's not true for everyone because if you're a streamer, then it's kind of like that's your content. That's how your personality comes through. But like if you're trying to be a YouTube personality or creator, then it kind of gets a little difficult because streaming's completely different. I mean, I've done streaming pretty unsuccessfully for a while because you gotta talk to your audience in like a live setting. It can be like there's a different challenge to that. I do think that personally I like the way YouTube goes. Like to start off developing your brand, I think if you like making content, then you should definitely try YouTube. Even though, like you said, it can be discouraging if you see the viewership and you put a lot of work in things. But I think that's the best way to develop your personality and your brand, through YouTube.
Well, YouTube is also great for discoverability.
Yeah, yeah. Twitch
So
is very
once,
hard to break through in that.
yeah, so I streamed part time on Twitch for 2 years, I guess. And I put a lot of time into. I have no idea where we're supposed to go, by the way.
Uh,
There's a
if you scroll out, like there's a little platform up here, and you gotta hit it kind of hard. It's
okay.
very confusing.
Oh,
There we go.
wow. All right.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I streamed part time on Twitch for a bit. I made affiliate, and it was going okay.
Hmm.
But the issue, and it's kind of like what I was talking to you before we started recording. You don't want to feel like it's just your friends, and you want to build viewership and an audience. And I felt like I mostly just had, it'd be like a handful of people in chat, people
Hmm.
that I knew through other
Uh,
communities.
right.
So
It's
it
not
it
based
just
on your content. It's kind of just based on they know you and they're there
right.
to chat.
And
Yeah.
and I always wanted. Oh, look at that!
Yes. Holy
I didn't.
cow, that
I
was
had no
bad. Oh
idea
my.
what the score was.
I knew I was doing good, but I did not think it was that bad.
uh, during the pandemic, I was streaming fairly regularly, which was really cool because I wasn't getting to see people. So having my friends in chat and whatnot was good. And I'm kind of a member of a few different Twitch communities, so having people that kind of know me through Twitch stop by was a really nice experience. But I got the sense that they weren't really invested in the content. I was playing like a
Yeah.
hunting simulation game and a few city builder kind of things, and people would interact, but it never really caught the kind of energy that I wanted.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm making videos that have like that answering a question or teaching people how to do something in a game that I like, it creates this different experience where the person can, they're interacting with me as a sort of expert. But it's possible that someone watches one of my YouTube videos and then never comes back.
Right.
And
That is
with
true.
Twitch, you're relying on them to come back. But with YouTube, you've got Google on your side and you've got like
Yeah.
the search engine and whatever. So somebody could just be a fan of one of the games that I play, and
Hmm.
I still want them to follow me on YouTube.
Right.
Whereas Twitch, being consistent, you either have to play the same game and play a
Yeah.
lot to build a community that always wants to watch that, or you have to be such a larger than life personality that
Right.
people log in to watch you regardless of what you play.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like overall, I mean, kind of sum it up is just make sure you got to know what you want your brand to be going into making any form of content creation, because if you kind of get lost in your brand and what you want everyone to like get from your channel, then it's just think of how confusing it's going to be for the audience, because they're going to have no clue what you're trying to produce if you kind of you're wishy-washy, or you're like, I stream sometimes, but or I play this game, I do this. You just got to have a consistent view of what you want that to look like. I think that's one of the more important things that a lot of people kind of forget to do, and then they get kind of frustrated when they lack the retention from audiences.
I agree.
Hope you enjoyed the first episode of Tea Time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did enjoy the content, please subscribe to my channel, Villains Marksman, and Bluebelly Gaming. We both are going to be making content together going forward. This was like a first step, and we'll obviously be back with more episodes of the Tea Time Show. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.